So, hello and welcome to this special program with MCCIA. Today we have Mukul Kumar, who is co-founder and president of engineering of PubMatic. And PubMatic is a very special company. You'll hear about it soon. Why it's so special, especially in Pune's context. Uh, Suffice to say that it is officially a unicorn, and we will hear from Mukul himself what that means and what the significance of that is. But before we get there, let me quickly introduce Mukul to you. Mukul is a graduate of IIT Kharagpur, and he's worked with multiple companies, including Symantec, and he was one of the co-founders of PubMatic about 13, 14 years back. And they have had an amazing journey in those 14 years, and we are eager to hear about that. But since I mentioned unicorn, let me just quickly define it, and then we'll hear about it more from Mukul. So unicorn in popular tech terminology is a company that has hit a valuation of $1 billion. And while we have talked about unicorns in India, in Pune, ultimately the real validation or test of a unicorn is when a company goes public, because that's the valuation that you officially get on the stock market. So PubMatic had its IPO earlier this week on Nasdaq. They are a US headquartered company, but with a very strong presence in Pune. And as you can see, Mukul is also right here in Pune. So first of all, Mukul, congratulations to you and your co-founder and to all your employees for hitting this great milestone of an IPO. And welcome to this brief discussion with MCCI. I know you're quite busy, so let's get right into it. Can you briefly talk about PubMatic's journey over the last 15 years since the ideation stage, and also briefly about how the co-founders got together and how they stuck upon this idea of this particular space, and then walk us through the crazy ride over the last decade.
Sure. Thank you, Amit. It's great to see you, and it's great to get on this platform, MCCIA, and have been, hearing a lot of your talks. So, really impressed with the quality of the sessions. So, yeah, great to be on this platform. So, yeah, I want to, talk a little bit about how we founded. So, that was 14 years ago. Like you earlier said, we met. The co-founders met in year 2006, and we discussed the idea of optimizing ads in the digital advertising. And we thought that helping publishers would be a good idea, and we decided to do it. We started in my 3-bedroom house in Pune. We used one of the bedrooms, not too far from here, where I live. And we started developing code right that day. We went and bought 2 laptops, and we started coding. And that's where the ride began. And it was, fun for the last. It is fun for the last 14 years. We continued to build the software. We did the first alpha in about 3 months. I remember when I was looking at the log file, serving the first 1,000 impressions in a day. Today, we are serving more than 100 billion ads a day. It's about
Amazing.
134 billion ads a day. So that's like 100 million times scale up that happened in the 14 years. So it has been a very amazing journey building the software, to the level that it is right now. And we do expect it to grow much more in the next, months and years. The initial, years were definitely initial months and years were definitely challenging with the bootstrapping of the idea. We had a very heavy bias for action. So we used to develop new ideas very quickly, and that value has, is still there and will be there. We used to iterate in hours rather than days. I remember, a new idea that would come in and we would, develop it, code it, and launch it in a few hours. I remember one of the incidences that I remember from early days was that when we developed our first ad server, that was in Java language, and it was slow and it was not performing to the level that we wanted, and we troubleshooted it for days, brought the performance up like 5 times or 6 times, but we were still not happy with that. And one day we discussed, and we We sat for 2 nights and 2 days, and we brought the performance at 10x in those 2 days. We rewrote the entire ad server in 2 nights in the C language, and that was pretty crazy. And we still do such things, but yeah, I think the journey has been really great.
I think
We
that's amazing to hear about your start. Literally, a true startup story where you start in a three-bedroom house with two laptops and co-founders working together. But before we get more into this, one of the things I would like our viewers to understand a little bit better is the exact solution. Uh, Now, PubMatic is literally behind the scenes of almost every person who's probably watching this whenever they're clicking on various websites or looking at ads. But they don't, most of our users don't really understand what's going on behind the scenes when they visit a website, when they see a ad, and how does PubMatic and PubMatic solution play such a vital role behind the scenes. Can you give us a brief overview of the solution and
Sure.
what's so challenging about it?
Absolutely, yes. So yeah, I think really good question. So we have solutions for publishers and buyers. So publishers are websites such as Times of India or Indian Express or New York Times or Wall Street Journal, or a e-commerce site. And buyers are basically advertisers, the whole ecosystems around advertisers or agencies and so on and so forth. So we help build solution for both these sides of the business. For publishers, we maximize their revenue with what is called a programmatic platform built for omni-channel ecosystem. What omni-channel means is we serve various different channels, from display to mobile to video to CTV. And for
Hmm.
buyers, we help them drive ROI by reaching and engaging the target audiences. What
Hmm.
that means is basically advertisers want to reach certain kind of audiences. They want to reach certain demographies, certain kind of people, and we help them do that. We help them do that in a very brand safe and a very premium environment, and serving various different ad formats. We do this via our platform, which is a very robust and a strong infrastructure that we have built, which is basically real-time bidding. We have publishers that are using our APIs and our services to deliver ads on their websites, and we have advertisers and buyers on the other side, again integrating via APIs that are serving those ads. We help them, like I said, maximizing the revenue and providing the maximum amount of return of investment for the advertisers. So that's a brief. You when you see an ad on a desktop, on a mobile, or on a video site, you may be seeing a ad that is served via PubMatic.
Interesting. I think this is something so crucial and so important to the internet today, especially given the amount of advertising that goes on online, right? Now, you
Yeah,
mentioned briefly about the scaling that you did from where you started to where you are at today, right? Just in
yeah.
terms of the number of impressions and the billions of impressions and the viewers that you're influencing or impacting. How did the scalability challenge shape up? Scalability is one of the biggest problems or opportunities for tech startups, uh,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to whether it's the number of users, whether it's memory, whether it's number of transactions. So that's something that our technology users would be specifically interested to hear more about how you dealt with some of these scalability challenges.
Sure. Yeah, this is probably my most favorite part, and I feel that with the growth in the digital ecosystem around the world and also in India, there's a very large opportunity. Like I said, we've been serving large scale ads, about 134 billion ad impressions a day, and 1.65 petabytes of data processed per day.
Wow.
So Yeah, that's been a very interesting challenge, like I said, to grow from 1,000 impressions a day to 134 billion impressions a day. And I think the key thing there is to keep innovating, to keep reinventing, right? Never accept no for an answer. I've had so many situations where even long ago, we talked to a lot of industry experts when we were really young. I mean, I was like in my first year in the startup. We talked to a lot of experts, and they said that it cannot be done. This is like the kind of performance and low latency that you need cannot be done. And what I said is, thank you. I will prove you wrong, right? So I kept taking those challenges, and I kept rebuilding the software. This is still an engineering value that we have, is
Right,
we
right.
keep software re-architecture and software optimizations as some of the really important part of our culture,
Mm.
that we are constantly looking at, what is our current efficiency and performance parameters, and then can we make it 5x, or can we take it to 10x. This is a really interesting problem, and this is a key to what we do at PubMatic. So it's not just, let's say, the impressions process, but like I said, 1.65 petabyte of data process per day. So very, very significant, how our servers are ingesting all that data across our 8 data centers and thousands of servers across the world.
That's great. The scalability challenges that you just described. Now, let me tie that back to the strong technical team, the strong engineering team that you were mentioning. How was the hiring challenge for you as you were scaling up and getting this really top quality talent, computer science talent, to deal with these extremely
Yeah.
tough problems? And how was the whole organization scaling experience for you in terms of growing from your first employee to where you are at today, which is over 500, if I'm not mistaken.
Worldwide. Yeah. Yeah, that's the right number, worldwide. Yeah. So yeah, it is. So I mean, if we look back from the initial years, obviously it was tough. We did not have a brand name, and nobody knew us 14 years ago, or even 13, 12 years ago. So it was definitely a challenge. We had our initial engineers who joined us, and who took the leap of faith, and some of them are still here with us. So they built the initial platform, and since then, I mean, I think we have used a number of different innovative methods. But I found the Pune ecosystem really helped us, of strong engineering talent, strong technical talent. We have seen tremendous success in hiring different kind of skill sets, ranging from ad serving to scale to building applications in Java, to in-app mobile applications, video, CTV. We built a CTV team
Hmm.
less than 12 months ago, right? We started building that. We now have about 20 people working on connected TV and OTT platforms. And, we built a beta in a record time, like about 5 months. So good success there. And I think we have also had success with campus hires,
Mhm.
where we get fresh talent out of campuses, and they can actually take up different kinds of roles. So I think that has worked really
Mhm.
well.
Mhm.
It is
Uh,
still, I would say, it's not super easy. I mean,
mhm.
obviously there are some talents that are difficult to get than others. Machine learning and big data are some of those skill sets that are
Yeah,
still.
I was going to come to that. I mean, I think clearly AI
Sure.
is an important piece of many technologies today, especially in the last 5 to 7 years. Of course, it was there before as well. So,
Yeah.
so in the last 5 years, as you have scaled this solution, what kind of AI and ML technologies are you using in your solution, and how are you able to find the right talent wherever in the world to address some of these problems?
In terms of our skill set, yes, it has been, obviously not easy to hire machine learning engineers, but we followed a very unique approach, and we started that a couple of years ago, maybe about 3 years ago, where we started a very innovative training program called the ML Squad program. And this program would train our engineers in machine learning and we had multiple levels of getting trained, and any engineer can come and start join this training program. We had competitions. In fact, we have a machine learning hackathon going on right now, and a bunch of new ideas come out of these hackathons. So I think it's a cycle of training, innovation, that has built a very strong, I would say, skill set in machine learning, who then go and work in these different areas.
So
Sure,
let me come back to the AI ML part that you were talking about.
sure.
You have been investing a lot in this area, as you just explained.
Yes,
What's next in the next 3 to 5 years in this space? Clearly, the internet and the ads on the internet are growing exponentially. And as you mentioned, there are a lot of other devices or platforms that are also coming in, right? For example, when you started, desktop was probably the only platform. Then mobile took over, and now we have other platforms as well. So how does
yeah,
this space change in the next 3 to 5 years? And what role does technology like AIML and other technologies play in this space?
sure. Yeah, so I think there is tremendous amount of opportunity in front of us. We have seen this massive growth in digital ecosystem, like I said, with a lot of growth in the way people are using uh, internet, right? Watching, more videos, getting more time on online. So we see several areas of big growth with this massive growth in internet. There's a lot of movement also in the buyer side with what do we call the supply path optimization, where
Hmm.
the buyers want to work with fewer omni-channel SSPs. So that has actually helped PubMatic, where a lot of advertisers and buyers have chosen PubMatic as a SSP of choice
Hmm.
because we have, omni-channel, and we provide such a advanced technical platform.
Hmm.
I see AI and ML playing a big part in that. Like I described, we are using AI and ML in various different modules. Pretty much every module across auction algorithms to real-time scanning to how we send bids to our advertisers. I see that we will continue to do a lot more of that. I see that we'll be investing a lot more in that. There is a lot of, there are a lot of, I would say, challenging and interesting problems in this space, particularly in scale, where we would, let's say, double the amount of impressions in the next whatever 12 to 18 months. And how do you
Hmm.
scale the platform to handle so many new impressions? How do you scale horizontally?
Right.
And at the same time, how do you scale in a way that you're not spending tremendous amount of capex? So we also have the most optimized infrastructure. I'm very proud to say that our team has
Hmm.
developed a very, very optimized infrastructure where while the business grows at a very fast pace, the cost of the infrastructure has been relatively flat. So, profitability is really important for this company.
Yeah, of course, of course. And so it's going to be very interesting to see how this space evolves and the kind of clearly you're a very technology centric company, and in terms of the various technologies that you're deploying and the kind of talent that you're recruiting and you're going to bring up
Sure.
or bring into the company in the years ahead. Let's go back to one of the points that you had briefly mentioned some time back, but I want to come back to it again, and that is the point of the Pune ecosystem. We are here
Sure.
in Pune at MCCIA, which has a very strong Pune presence as well. How do you see the Pune ecosystem evolving in specifically in terms of the technology and software industries, but clearly, as we have talked about in the past, enterprise infrastructure software seems to be a bigger strength of Pune than B2C, for example.
Sure.
But how do you see Pune position and the kind of talent? You're probably one of the most experienced experts in this area for the last 20 years in Pune. So how have you seen this space evolve, and what do you see as the opportunities for the Pune tech ecosystem in this particular space? And just a slight follow-up to that question would be, what would be your advice to young entrepreneurs in the software space, specifically working in the software infrastructure B2B space?
Sure. That's a very good question, Amit. And I feel that Pune ecosystem has evolved very significantly in the past 10 or 12 years. I see a lot of new startups coming in, and I see not just B2B but some B2C also coming up. And I feel that there is a lot more maturity in those startups where the teams are working together and the teams are able to understand the market much better. I feel that the strong ecosystem of engineering ecosystem in Pune will help those company grow and achieve success. My advice for entrepreneurs, I think it's keep building a great innovative product. That's the strength of engineers, and have a great bias for action. So don't wait on ideation for very long. Keep building great products. Keep your strong focus on that. I've seen some ideas where some startups where some new idea comes up, or some crisis comes up, or some new opportunity comes up, and then you get diverted in that. It's really important to understand what your key focus is and what do you want to build. The clarity of thought is really important, and to keep that focus consistently is really important. I mean, I've seen that in my 14 years where we had a lot of ideas. We had a lot of people coming in and saying that, Mukul, you should do this, you should do something else. And it was the focus. I think that is really important. The other good important thing is get customer feedback early on. I see a lot of startups are doing that, and a few are not. So I think it's really important to build an early alpha and get in front of the customers as soon as possible, get as much feedback as possible, and then keep building that product, keep iterating really fast, getting the feedback and iterate the product really fast. The other area which I feel has helped me is also to have very clear understanding of what are the business metrics that are most important to you. So, you know, if you don't have metrics, if you're not measuring it, then you may not be making progress. So you need to identify that is the number of users or the revenue per user or some other metric or some kind of a latency or performance metric that is really key to your business, and keep your eye on that and make sure that those are improving to the level that you want them to improve on. You need to have a vision around that where do I want to take my revenue, like a 5x or a 10x growth. And then keep a strong, keep your eyes on that.
Yeah,
And
I think
then
that's
I think
a
that's
good list, and I think one of the benefits that the Pune ecosystem is fortunate to have and will continue to have is your advice on a regular basis. I know you are spending time with startups, and I'm hoping. I know you're going to be extremely busy, obviously with PubMatic, but whenever you have time, whatever time you can spend with startups is
sure.
obviously going to be extremely beneficial. So I know we are short on time, but I definitely want to congratulate you, your co-founders, and the entire PubMatic team for this great milestone for officially attaining the unicorn status and becoming one of the first, probably the first in recent memory, Pune based company, significantly Pune based company to get to this status on the Nasdaq market. So congratulations once again. Today we did have a few technical difficulties thanks to our network in recording this, but we hope to have a more detailed discussion with you in a few weeks' time when we will probably have a meeting in the MCCIA studio as well. But
Sure.
in the meantime, thank you for sparing time for us at MCCI today, and hope to meet with you in person soon.
Sure. Thank you, Amit. Great talking to you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a great
Bye.
day. Yeah. Bye.